So I wanted to do a quick video today. I hear so many people at the end of the month talking about, oh yeah, I didn't have enough money for my month, or it's too much month for my money, or however you want to say it. Basically what they're saying is, that they're not able to pay their expenses, right? Robbing Peter to pay Paul, barely making it through the month. And then you have all these experts that come into these communities, and they're saying stuff like, hey, cut your expenses, watch your expenses. So then you have all these families scrambling through trying to figure out what expenses that they can cut. Okay, we don't need cable. Okay, we don't need this. Okay, we don't need that. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. But guess what? If you had more income, those expenses wouldn't be a problem. So the problem is not your expenses. The problem is your income. It's not your expenses, guys. Now, yes, in the African American communities, us African Americans, we account for the highest level of consumption that there is. That's not a good thing. We account for the highest level of consumption and the lowest when it comes to income. So yes, the African American communities, we have bad habits, bad spending habits. So those need to definitely be addressed. But the issue is not cutting your expenses. The issue is adding income. If you have more income, your expenses would not be a problem. I wouldn't have to cut my cable. I wouldn't have to cut this. I wouldn't have to cut that if I had more income. So what needs to happen is we need to figure out how to re-educate our communities. Not only because, like I said, we have bad habits when it comes to spending, but how to start businesses. Because guess what? There's three main paths to building wealth. One is entrepreneurship. The second is real estate. The third is your paper assets. In the African American communities, we don't have any of those, right? We rank the lowest statistic wise for all three of those. So we'll never build wealth in our communities. And in our communities, we're always going to be struggling. We're not going to have enough money at the end of the month, right? We're going to have too much month for the money, however you want to say it. Always going to be robbing Peter to pay Paul. So there has to be a re-education that takes place within our community. Number one, again, it's not cutting your expenses, it's adding income. It's adding income, guys. If you had more money, the expenses would not be a problem. So how about we focus on building entrepreneurs, or not only building entrepreneurs, but just having valuing ourselves more, so that we're worth more, and we know that we're worth more, so we get paid more, or upping our skill set, leveling up on our education and our skills so we can get paid more. I mean, there's so many things that we can do in our communities to really have more money at the end of the month instead of more month at the end of the money. So I'm constantly hearing people talking about how they have to cut their expenses, and I gotta figure out what expenses to cut, and I guess we don't need this, or I don't need this. Okay, yeah, it is good to know your needs, your wants, the difference between needs and wants. Okay, yeah, you can, especially when it comes to budgeting and, saving for other things that you may love or really want to do in your life. Yes, it's really important to budget, but it's also important to understand how to build wealth. The expenses would not be a problem if the income was there. That's all my message is today. I just heard someone else talking about that, and I'm just like, oh, you guys, people, okay, it's not about cutting the expenses, it's about raising the income. Cutting the expenses, again, you're looking at the negative side of it instead of looking at the positive. It's like the law of attraction, right? What you think about is what you get.